We're standing here on the Parkway, and I'm here with Dave Perella. He's the Director of Tourism for Gatlinburg, and we're going to be talking about a new special event that lasts pretty much all summer. It's called Tunes and Tales. David, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Mike. It's good to be here.
Tell us about this Tunes and Tales. We've been hearing a little bit about it. How did it get started?
Well, we talked about it in the Tourism Advisory Board meeting, and initially we thought it would be good to add something for the visitors to enhance their strolling down the sidewalks, which is such a big part of most people's stay in Gatlinburg, and thought about, maybe if we put some entertainment out there in different places, and at the same time possibly give them a taste of some of the culture and the heritage of the area, that they may enjoy that. And so it basically came up as an enhancement program to the sidewalks of Gatlinburg.
And you mentioned some entertainment. What kind of entertainment is it, David, and where are they located on the main street here?
Well, we have some bluegrass bands. We have actually three bluegrass bands. We have some craftsmen from our local Great Smoky Mountain Arts and Crafts community that are participating. We have some actors and actresses that are portraying different characters. And we have some cloggers that are doing some original Appalachian dance in a couple of locations. So it basically stretches from the Calhoun's Village at the south end of Gatlinburg down to around Traffic Light 3, Traffic Light 3 on the Parkway.
Who put this together? Did you use a professional company, or how was that done?
Yeah, when we started talking about it and realized the scope that we would need, the number of characters, in fact, right now we have 37 different entertainers under contract for a 10-week period, and we thought that was a little more than we had the capabilities at this time to manage as a department. So we sent out some requests for proposals and brought some companies in who talked to the Tourism Advisory Board about what they could do. We settled on a company called JBP Entertainment Group out of Orlando, Florida, and we've been working with them for probably over a year, maybe 15 months now, developing the characters, developing the costuming, because we wanted to make sure that it had an entertainment value, but we didn't want to create a circus atmosphere. So we had to find that happy medium towards, somewhere between our mountain heritage of the area, which is a little more low-key, but also bringing something that would entertain the guests. And we think we found it, and we've been able to, in working with them, we've been able to refine it into actually some historical things that have happened in the area that the characters talk about. So, it's been a great relationship with JBP Entertainment Group, and of course they also were here for auditions. We auditioned locally. In fact, I think of all the groups we have the dance groups are out of Chattanooga, and the remaining groups are basically from the East Tennessee area. A lot of them are from Gatlinburg and the surrounding counties. So it really is. These people are really good at what they do. They're very good musicians. They're very good craftsmen. So it's nice for the visitors to be able to see them, the craftsmen, plying their trade and getting an explanation about how a dulcimer became a dulcimer, and how it's made and how it's tuned and how you play it. And I know the dance groups, they after they finish their performance, they get some of the younger people in the audience to come up and they give them dance lessons in Appalachian dance. So it kind of has a unique interaction with the visitor. And we've gotten some really good comments on it.
David, what time does this take place, and is it 7 days a week? And I heard there was a real unique way that these entertainers are delivered to their spots. Tell us a little bit about that and how long the venues are and the little skits and whatnot.
Well, every evening at 6 o'clock, and we're standing in front of the parkway entrance to the convention center.
There's that Harley I told you about.
Followed by a Goldwing. But every evening at 6 o'clock we have one of our bluegrass bands performing out in front of the convention center. And the cast comes down the stairs and they introduce the cast as they get on a horse-drawn wagon, which then takes them on a loop through town and drops them off at the different locations they're going to be performing at. While they're on the wagon going through town, they're singing and interacting with the folks on the sidewalk, and welcoming them to Gatlinburg. So it's kind of a unique entry, but we felt that bringing the horses and the wagon would actually bring a little bit more character to the event, and make it more authentic to the way things were back when the original settlers on through the early 1900s, the way things were in Gatlinburg.
So the skits, they last about how long?
Skits last normally about 10 to 12 minutes, and then the performers will spend another 10 to 12 minutes interacting, on the sidewalks with the people. It begins, as I said, at 6 o'clock at night, goes through about 10:30 or 11. That's when we normally finish every evening, and there's probably 12 to 14 different locations that are being performed at each evening.
I'm here with the sheriff. He's one of the characters in Tunes and Tales, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. Hey, Sheriff, good to have you here tonight.
Well, thank you very much. Sheriff Jordan Salamander. I was sheriff around here back in 1900. They dug me up from the dead, and now they got me out here telling lies on the street.
Tell me some of those lies.
Well, one of the things that I talk about, primarily historical facts. I tell people the origin of the name of Gatlinburg, where the town received its name. Also tell about a Civil War story out in the National Park, where people can actually go to Cades Cove and see the headstone of the fellow who was murdered by North Carolina rebels, just like it says right on his tombstone. And so I talk about that, and also talk about other characters around Gatlinburg, and then I throw in a yarn or two about some of the other characters in the Tunes and Tales.
How has it been received on the streets?
Oh, absolutely awesome. From two standpoints. One, the people love the history. When I tell them how Gatlinburg got its name, they go, oh, I didn't know that. Or I tell them facts about things that have happened out in the park, historically speaking. Or I talk with the little kids about bears. Like I talk with them about how do you tell how old a bear is, why not to feed a bear, why to stay away from a bear, and leave them alone in nature and things like that. The parents love it, the kids love it. And a little hook that I use is I always tell them that they need to be arrested for having too much fun. So I try and lure the big kids in and the little ones at the same time.
My name is Miss Lil, and what I play is an ancient instrument. It's called a bowed psaltery, and it comes back way in biblical times. It's what David played for King Saul.
Okay, would you play a little for us, please?
Certainly.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Now, how long have you been playing this?
I've been playing it about 10 years.
And do any of the people on the street want to learn how to play it?
Sure, I've had a lot of people want to try to play it, and the neat thing is it's so easy. Anybody could pick this up and play it.
Well, it's beautiful. Would you play us just a little bit more?
Sure.
Wonderful.
My name's Big Hog. This is my little buddy, Little Hog. You know, we was born in the 1800s right here in these mountains, the Smoky Mountains, which makes me 206 years old if you do up the math. And well, they got me out here telling stories about all the mountains and everything that's in them.
How'd you get the name Big Hog?
Well, I tell you what, as long as I can remember, I've been called Big Hog. And you know, it's 'cause I loves them hogs. but I respects them, so I never try to make one of them my pet.
Big Hog, tell us a story about the times in the mountains when people lived back in the park.
Well, you know, back in my day, we had what was called a granny hole. Have you ever heard of a granny hole?
Never have.
Well, back when I was a young and growing up, you see, in houses they'd have, sometimes 10 to 12 people, a ma, a pa, and the grandparents, and then all the youngins. And well, while the pa was out working the fields and the ma was cooking and cleaning out the barn, who was to watch the youngins? And that was the grandma's job. That's why they called it a granny hole. And what she did is she'd sit in the living room and have a hole cut out in the side of the cabin and watch us play out in the yard.
I gotcha. And Hog, where are you from?
Well, like I said, I'm from the Smoky Mountains.
I'm here with the back do for Tunes and Tales. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for being with us. And tell us a little bit about clogging, where it got started, and a little bit about it.
Well, clogging actually got started on the back porches of the mountain people who used to live here in the Smokies. And we are just here to give people the experience of clogging.
Now, is clogging like tap dancing?
A little bit. Unlike tap dancing, clogging has a few more sounds because the shoe is a little bit looser than the tap shoe.
And when the little kids come up and see you guys on the street, do they want to start dancing with you?
Yes, sir. And after our normal show, we invite them up there and we teach them a few steps.
Is it hard to learn?
Oh, no. Well, it's hard to learn some steps, so we teach them easy steps like basics. It's pretty easy. Shuffle down. Good. Other foot. Shuffle down. That's good. You're doing good. Other foot.
Excuses.
Shuffle down. And then you go back. Step. Ready? Let's try that other.
Okay.
Ready? Shuffle down. Shuffle down. Shuffle down. And then go back. Step. That's that easy. Here.
Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. Lady Mae, tell us about your character.
Well, I'm from the Smoky Mountains, and I was born about 1823, and I came down here to tell the folks down here about the wild crafting and such. You know what the wild crafting is?
No, but I'd love to know.
Well, now, wild crafting is when you look deep into nature and you find some secret that something holds that you can find some use for. And now, if you looked in a book now I don't read or know much about numbers and such, but now if you looked in a book now, because I have people that read to me, but now they tell me that this wild crafting is when you use wild product for food and construction and craft, which, that's kind of highfalutin. But, like I said, I think it's when you find some secret that something holds that you can use for, so.
Well, when you're on the streets of Gatlinburg, do people ask you a lot of questions about the park and about the old times here?
Yes, they do. Now, they ask me a lot about the wildcraft, and I've had people ask me about skin ailments and things with the scalp and how to raise children. Now, I did the midwife, and so I tell them a little bit about the midwife and the paper making, and I do that. And I do the basket weaving and such. And they ask me a lot of questions about that, a lot of different things about where things are located and the beauty of the hills and such. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds great, and people can see you on the streets almost every night, right? And here is one of our favorite characters, Miss Taffy. Miss Taffy, good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. I'm doing wonderful.
Tell us about your character.
Well, my name is Taffy Von Sacker, and I make candy. My great-granddaddy taught me how to make candy a long time ago, and that's what I do, and I just love being able to be out on the streets. And in fact, my uncle's Willy Wonka, and he's asked me to do a very special project this summer and ask all the people in Gatlinburg to make a brand new sweet for him. So we're trying to figure out a brand new sweet for Willy Wonka.
That sounds good, Miss Taffy. Now tell us, how do you make candy?
How do you make candy? Well, you can make candy all different kinds of ways. You can bake it and boil it and stretch it out like taffy. It just depends on what kind you're making.
Well, tell me, what's your favorite?
My favorite's taffy, of course.
Okay. Do you give out any samples when people come by, or you just tell them about
it? Well, no, I tell them about it. Have you ever heard Death by Chocolate?
No,
You see, I used to have this taste tester with me. His name was Earl, and he died by chocolate, and that's how they got that. So I'm the one that eats everything. I don't want to make anybody sick.
That's too bad about Earl, but
Yeah.
has it been fun seeing people on the
Oh,
streets?
it's been great. It's been so wonderful. Everybody's so nice here, and I love just being able to introduce people to Gatlinburg and show them my home.
So if they haven't been up here yet to see Tunes and Tales, they need to get on up
They
here.
do. Yes, sir. It's the greatest thing. Free entertainment on the streets every night. You can't beat that anywhere.
Taffy, thanks and good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi there, my name's Nature Loving Nellie. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nature Loving Nellie. How are you?
I'm good. I'm real good.
Now tell me, what do you tell people on the streets?
Well, I tell them about Gatlinburg and stuff, and, I'm hoping to be a park ranger one of these days. I'm really hoping. So, if I see one of them park ranger cars go by, I chase after them, but they usually just kind of drive away from me.
Do you tell them about things in the national park?
I do. Yeah, I'll tell them bear stories and stuff like that, and all sorts of cool stuff, about the park. Yep.
Okay, tell us a bear story.
Oh, all right. Well, I got this friend of mine, Cletus, right? And I said, Cletus, what you do if you see a bear? And he said, you mind hold my stick there for a minute there? Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Well, I asked him, I said, Cletus, what you do if you see a bear? He said, well, I do what my daddy done told me to do. You do whatever that bear does. So sure enough, he's walking up in the woods, and he's just walking, and he comes across this bear. And this bear raises up on his two back legs like this, and he goes, rah! And so Cletus remembers what his dad told him to do, and he gets up on his two back legs and goes, rah, right back at the bear. And so then the bear gets down on all fours and goes, rah, rah, starts pawing at the ground. And Cletus gets down on his hands and knees and goes, rah, rah. And then you know what that bear did?
No.
He got up on a rock and he done peed on it. So then Cletus stands up and he says, I'm sorry, Mr. Bear, but I already done did that when you went, rah! Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and good luck to you. Elizabeth Barrett O'Shea, and tell me about your character.
Well, I'm a traveling actress, and I have actually come to Gatlinburg to share the history of the Ogles.
Ooh, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Martha Jane Husky Ogle brought her 7 children here, and she actually was the first white settler in Gatlinburg. I'm up at the Ogle cabin near the Aerocraft shop, and I can tell you a little bit more about her if you choose to stop by.
Well, I definitely will. The Ogles are very popular around here, and a lot of people are interested in them.
They certainly are. They're a fascinating family.
Well, thank you, and we'll stop by and see you.
All right, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. David, sounds great, man, and I'm excited for Gatlinburg and excited for your department and the TAB board having involvement with this whole thing.
Yeah, thank you, and we just appreciate. We've had a lot of support from the business community, and a lot of support from the Board of Commissioners, City Administration. I mean, everybody has. This has been one of those processes that we've done, that we've worked through with a bunch of people over a long period of time, so that there was a lot of involvement and hence a lot of support for the program. And we hope to bring this back over for the next couple of years